and I didn't play the intro.
What?
Well, it is not a good show without the song. So let me go ahead and play the intro, and then we'll get. Here we go.
Dim lit chandeliers glow. We'll sip our worries away, nice and slow. Your laughter ripples like sweet warm wine. In this jazzy sultry space, you're mine. The saxophone croons a velvet tune, while melodies dance beneath the moon. We'll toast to moments both grand and small, in this hazy, lazy, jazz-touched hall. But let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you. Your eyes, they sparkle with every click. Sweet rendezvous over a simple drink. We'll share our secrets in whispers low, just you and me where the jazz flows slow. The world outside fades into the mist, but here it's our own dreamy tryst. With each sip our worries drift away. Let's stay together till the break of day. So let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you.
The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences. It may contain occasional strong language and may not be suitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer inebriation is advised, though not mandatory.
Gather close, my Martini Gallery. It's last call, where Christmas urban legends meet my questionable life choices. Like, did you know Santa's workshop doubles as an elf sweatshop? Poor things churning out coal for naughty kids while unionizing over hot cocoa. And Krampus? That's just Santa's business competitor, ho-ho-hoing his way through intellectual property court. Or at least that's what I've heard. Tonight, we'll laugh before we cry, or hide in the cupboard. Which Christmas legends have you heard, and which traumatized you first? Top off your mug of Tom and Jerry, or your cup of eggnog, and we'll roll this Canarble Wagon right now.
Last Call is streamed before a live audience.
Hava salud and happy weekend. Weekend before. This is the last weekend before Christmas. Hope you have your shopping done. If you don't, it's going to be pretty crazy this weekend, but get out there and get your stuff done.
Or if you're really, well, for lack of better phrasing, lazy, just buy a bunch of gift cards. But keep in mind that I don't think it was always this way, but now a certain gift cards that you buy, you have to you have to pay a fee, like $5 or $10 to buy the gift card, which I think is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of a transaction fee, like some places charge you when you use a card. It's getting bad.
Wow.
But anyway, welcome.
Dimed.
Yeah, nickel and dime. That's for darn sure. Welcome everyone to Last Call, where I'm not looking to nickel and dime anybody, but I am always happy for you to buy me a drink. I get happier the more I drink. So welcome everyone. Of course, you know my beautiful wife, Netter of Netter's Network, who's actually sitting directly across from me, but you see her on the screen down over here. How you doing, Netter? And what you sipping on? As if I didn't know.
I am doing well, and I am eating. I am drinking a cat and a mouse. Apparently,
it's thick enough that it definitely is
Whoa.
like eating. But yeah,
Yes.
Tom and Jerry.
So I am drinking a cat and a mouse.
And mine is full strength, and I'm already half done with it. It is thick. Let me tell you. That's what she said.
It is actually really good. He said he didn't put a lot of alcohol in mine. I'm not taking any alcohol, so I know he did do
literally
light,
just
but,
put a splash in.
yeah. But this is really good.
You saw me put a half ounce of rum into the whole batter.
Yeah.
There's only two tablespoons of the batter in the drink, and then just the smallest of splash of rum and cognac in yours.
I'm sure all y'all were at Liquid Lunch today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure all y'all were paying attention,
oh, God,
like I
was.
Where he said, this is going to be about 4,000 calories, but the recipe is actually for about a dozen or so, maybe a couple dozen drinks. So it's going to come out to about 200 to 400 calories.
Okay.
He just realized when he made the recipe today that he made the big recipe.
Yeah, I thought, I mean, I only had a bowl about this size, but when it only calls for 2 tablespoons of the batter, per drink, I was like, wow, there's a lot here. I'll be drinking Tom and Jerry's until Christmas. Not that that's a bad thing, but anyway, this is my designated driver, Boomer. Looks like he's going to be driving us home in a tractor, which is fine. As long as we get home safely. What are you drinking tonight, Boomer?
She thinks this tractor's sexy.
Yeah. That's what Sophia told me.
Anyway, I'm sipping on a Coca-Cola Classic as Santa did in many an advertisement.
There you go.
One could argue that Coca-Cola invented the modern iteration of Santa Claus, unless that's an urban legend. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if that's on our list. If it's not. We'll
next time.
Well, then I'll speak to it. The idea that Coca-Cola invented the modern iteration of Santa Claus is a myth.
Yes.
But the specific color of red of Santa's suit is brought to you by Coca-Cola.
I should speak to this actually because I visited the Coca-Cola Museum in Atlanta, Georgia, and they said yes, we did.
Of course, they're going to say that.
They also said that all that stuff about a certain leaf that is illegal being used in original Coke, that's just a myth. That never happened. They also said that, I think, which may not be
the Coca
true.
leaf? Yeah. The problem there is that there's no way to know because they've always been so secretive about the formula. There have been people that have tried to recreate it, but here's the other problem. How do you know when you've got it right? There's nobody around who even remembers what it originally tasted like back in 1900 or whatever, So,
I assume if you have uppers and you're jumping around the room.
Well, caffeine will do that to you. I mean,
that's true.
But every cola. Did you know that? Forget about the booger sugar. Did you know that caffeine in cola is, of course, a naturally occurring thing, but because of the way they process it now, you don't get the caffeine from they don't use the cola nut anymore, at least in theory. They actually add caffeine now to the drink. So your decaffeinated cola, they just don't add caffeine to it. That is
Really?
true with coffee. Coffee always has caffeine in it because they're definitely using coffee beans, and they are filtering it to remove the caffeine. And do you know what chemical they use to bind with the caffeine to remove it?
What?
Formaldehyde. You're probably better off drinking the caffeine, my friends. Just saying. But
Oh.
again, only speaking about coffee.
And Troy's allergic to formaldehyde.
I am very allergic to formaldehyde. I would never drink a decaffeinated coffee anyway. But, decaffeinated coffee is for people who just like to pee, I guess. I mean, because, bitter. Anyway, let's say hi to everybody who's here. Christmas Legends, as in Santa himself. FKC 2005, otherwise known as Tim, is absolutely right about that. We will talk about the fat man himself. And I don't mean me. Well, we'll talk about me too, I'm sure. Hello, my friends. Hope you all have a wonderful evening and a great weekend ahead. Enjoy your drinks and have a great show. Thank you so much, Big Al of Big Al Presents. Jesse Guajardo, hello there. Good to see you, my friend. Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube and Fluff Chick Productions. Hail. Good to see you. Mark Daly says, greetings from Warner Robins, Georgia. Really in South Georgia this time. I can confirm that the Motel 6 will, in fact, leave the light on for you. There you go. Nice little travel tip there. There's the love of my life who's sitting right across from me, who has put up with me for 33 plus years without smothering me in my sleep. So she must have a certain amount of fondness for me. She says, like, share, subscribe, become a member, leave a comment, and gift a membership if you are feeling so generous at this holiday season. You can become a member for as little as $2 a month. A membership has many perks, including keeping the lights on here, literally, and a lot about
that I keep showing up on his streams.
Yes, exactly, and of course the benefit of a member stream every Monday night. Where we watch a movie of your choice, although I haven't put up a poll for this week because I haven't figured out what I'm doing yet for the movies. We'll figure that out.
I think you should just pick a letter of the alphabet, and then whatever's on that shelf behind me, that's that letter.
Yep.
Just randomly pick I'll count how many are in that letter, and then you just pick 3 random numbers, and that's what we're doing. They'll all be in that letter, and
that's fair. Yep, gifted memberships are also welcome. I am trying to reach 100 members, which is looking less and less likely, my friends. We are slipping back. I am back to almost needing almost 40 members at this point. And I think next week's stream, what I will be doing for Boxing Day is if I can get 30 members by the stream next week, I will contribute 10 of my own, which will cause us to hit that
magic number.
That's my plan for next week. Mark Daly, yes, slow jazz time. Yep. That's exactly the plan around here. I love jazz.
Well, it's a shame I can't give you my gifties.
Yeah, I know. Here's to the magic in a drink with you. Exactly. I love the fact that you guys like that song.
That comment will be copyright stricken, and we are going to come after you for that. Okay.
Working on a 6-pack of cookies I just bought at Buc-ee's.
Isn't that the best? Oh, Buc-ee's! I've always wanted to go to one of those. Do you have Buc-ee's?
Speaking of cookies, I had sent Boomer some.
I did.
You got some cookies recently,
I got
Boomer?
some delicious cookies, man. I got a limoncello. I got some gingerbread. I got some Christmas crack, and some mint ones. They're very good. Candy cane, I think, flavor. Yeah.
You know what we got?
What?
We got some chocolate. What are these called?
Seashells.
Seashells, yes. Chocolate.
Those are a Florida specialty from
St. Let me show them the gator. the gator bait. This is Netter's gator bait because mine just seems to have disappeared. It evaporated.
When did you get that? Don't tell me you got it today.
This afternoon, yeah. This
Oh,
afternoon.
it's gone already.
And it's gone already. Netter left it with me, and I munched. I just have a little bit more. When I saw I was down to crumbs, I'm like, screw it, and I just upended it. I was like, whatever. Welcome, Keely Chow. He says, "Hey, everybody, good morning from Hong Kong." That's right. You're all the way on the other side of the planet there. Good morning to you. We're having last call. You're having what? First call, I suppose. JPRPH1 dropping the membership emojis, another perk of membership, so that you can show off your support of the channel. Did I say hi to Jesse Guajardo? I think I did, but welcome, Jesse Guajardo, if I didn't say hi to you earlier. Tree Rock Creations. I'd like a bottle of new grape soda for Christmas, but it isn't made anymore. I hate that, There's a lot of things that used to be available that aren't anymore. Sometimes Ecto Cooler, at least there are recipes so you can reproduce it. All the ingredients for it still exist. So you can still, Sunny D, I think, is one of the things you need. And I don't remember what else went into it. It was a Coca-Cola product, I think. And all the different drinks they mix together into Ecto Cooler still exist, and you can still make it.
Okay, the new grape, there's somebody selling it on eBay for $18.
Yeah, it's probably 40 years old and funkified.
Well, oh wait, that looks like it's an empty can. Never mind that one. But there are ones that, actually, no, it's knee high.
Yeah, knee high. I remember knee high. I remember the commercials for knee high. Yeah. Salute to Deleted Scenes. Good to see you, my friend. Tom and Jerry does sound yummy. Was checking on eBay for sets. Pretty cool tradition. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. My Google foo has come through.
Okay.
New grape soda is still made, but it's a regional favorite primarily found in southeastern U.S., Georgia, Carolinas, parts of Alabama, and Tennessee, and sold in glass bottles, offering that classic old-fashioned grape flavor for those who remember it.
Well, there you go. Maybe you could talk to Mark Daly and he can hook you up, You guys
Maybe they sell it at Cracker Barrel.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
They have a lot of weird sodas at Cracker Barrel.
How about Tab? Tab isn't made anymore.
Boo.
That's okay, Deleted Scenes. You can always catch up on the rerun if you wish. Welcome, Suzanne. Good to see you. Let's see who else we got going here. Lynn Green was able to stop by. She said, "Hi all, looking forward to this later." Yeah, you're going to have to watch it on the rewatch, but thanks for stopping in to say hi. Super appreciate it. I'd settle for the real Coke with sugar. Coca-Cola Classic uses corn syrup for sugar. Yeah, exactly.
So if you want with real sugar, buy the Mexican
Coke. Yeah. Although there is, the current administration is pushing to get rid of corn syrup in foods and push for a return to cane sugar. So
what if that means we all start losing weight?
Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Like Netter said, do all the clicky things, please.
Clicky.
Decaffeinated cola? What's the point of that? Exactly. I'll tell you, in college, I was a Jolt cola drinker.
Ooh, that's the hard stuff.
All the sugar, twice the caffeine. That's right.
Billy D. Williams, he didn't advertise Jolt Cola. That was that Colt 45? That was Colt 45.
Colt 45 was Billy D. Williams, yeah.
Okay, I get that confused.
Jolt Cola can be dangerous. I used to work for a headhunting firm. There was a guy who kept a case of Jolt Cola in the bottom drawer of his desk, and he was constantly throwing them back. The guy never sat down and was constantly vibrating. He finally had...
he had so much caffeine, he vibrated into another universe.
No, he actually was taken to the hospital because he his heart was just pounding so much that he thought he was having a heart attack.
That happened to a lot of people back in the 90s that were doing those little shots of.
He never came back to work. He was just like, nope, can't do this.
I understand. Welcome, Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. Good to see you, my friend. And Penny. So good to see you. Y'all popping in for a bit before bed. That's fair. Love it if you could come back and catch the rerun. I think you're going to enjoy us talking about Christmas legends. Jesse Guajardo says, Troy, I just saw an advertisement for Coca-Cola Company for a hiring drivers, sales associates, warehouse workers, shelf stackers, and $30 an hour. Maybe that's because more jobs are starting to come back to the United States, including distribution.
Excellent.
We are recovering. And Penny says, Merry Christmas, y'all. Geek Flag with Nate knows. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and become a member. And if you were going to give a super chat of $5 or more, why not gift a membership instead and make our family grow? Yes.
Followed up by a gifted membership.
I'm getting there. Thank you so much, Geek Flag. Putting your money where your mouth is, which went to Lynn Green. Welcome back to membership, Lynn Green. There you go.
It's like the original She-Hulk.
Darth Plato. We're talking about Christmas movies? No, we are talking about Christmas legends that may or may not be true. We'll talk about those in just a moment after I've said hi to everybody here. I was a good boy and ate my brisket sandwich first. Oh, before the cookies. Absolutely.
Brisket's good.
How can you have your pudding if you don't eat your meat? Oh, to be in Japan and acai extra dry sounds really good right now. There you go. We'll be talking about Japan in a little
Just don't
bit.
buy their Christmas decoration. I'm kidding.
Yeah. How about Tab? I miss Tab. I really do. I think I'm sure you were listening when I told the story about Tab and how when it went off the market, I went and I bought a whole bunch of 12 packs and came to find out that soda, although it doesn't necessarily go bad right away, it will eat through aluminum cans eventually. And I had a bit of a mess. So I had to throw a lot of those out, sadly.
Yeah, they kind of leaked. Fortunately, I had loose ones in those busing tubs that you see in restaurants because I happen to have some. And I had them stacked in there. And then it's like I'm seeing soda. I'm like, what is leaking? Yeah, a couple of them were empty because they had leaked because of it ate through the can.
First off, remember, this does not constitute health advice. I am not a doctor, nor do I even play one on the YouTubes. But yeah, having natural sugar as opposed to artificially derived corn syrup.
We figure that's worse than the sugar.
With an otherwise balanced diet. Yeah, not all sugars are made the same. Not all fats are made the same. Just like your body cannot metabolize trans fats, they go directly into your fat cells and never come out because your body does not know how to process them. You don't process high fructose corn syrup the same way. Also, the way sugar is used in foods as an additive these days is more for shelf stability than it is for taste. And it is making you unnecessarily fat because of added calories that are only there for convenience, not for any other reason. We'll talk more about the shelf stabilization of sugar in one of our legends today. Ray Charles had once appeared in the Pepsi commercials. You got the right one, baby!
I remember those.
Which had the slogan, you had the right one, baby. Yeah, I knew it. Let's see. And why just cane sugar? To get that gets imported from Cuba, while sugar beets are grown in the good old USA. Okay, no, I misspoke when I said specifically cane sugar. What I meant was natural sugar, whether that's from sugar beets or something
I
else.
think
The thing is that just like with cane sugar, sugar beets, you can easily extract natural sugar from them. You cannot do that with corn. There is a very strange chemical process you got to go through, and that has more to do with corn subsidies than anything else.
I think we are used to saying cane sugar because that's how the Mexican Coke is made, right? With the cane sugar. I could be wrong, but
If you look carefully, in the first Jurassic Park movie, one of the characters was drinking Jolt Cola. That's right.
I bet it was Samuel L. Jackson.
Probably. It may not be easy being green, but it makes it look easy. There you go. There you go. The Christmas legends of the fruitcake that was regifted around the world. I will tell you this. If properly basted, you every week or so, you spritz that fruitcake with brandy, it will keep indefinitely, and that flavor will get richer and richer.
For example, Troy made a fruitcake last year.
Yep.
We haven't touched it yet, but I spritz it every once in a while with apple brandy.
Probably.
In fact, Big Al, if he's still in the chat audience, we sent him one of our fruitcakes.
Yep.
And
it was basted for a very, very long time.
Very delicious.
I do that with milk, Troy, except I keep it. There you go. Does the human body cannot process trans fat, so if you eat too much, you become transgendered? That would explain a lot. It really would. I wonder if Ray Charles saw any money from those ads he did. No, he didn't see anything because he was blind. And that gets us to the end of the chat. Let's go ahead and get to the presentation. And in fact,
I don't know if this one is in yours, but you had mentioned something during your opening, and
hold on a second. Penny, are you subscribed to my channel? Because I have it set that if you're not subscribed, you got to be subscribed for 1 hour in order to comment on my channel. You aren't subscribed to me, and I am hurt by that. I am truly, truly hurt, Penny. That's why I do that, though, because people think that they're subscribed, but when they go to comment and they can't comment, they realize, oh, I'm not subscribed. Sometimes. So double check and make sure you're probably not subscribed. Yep. Yeah. Well, he's a legend, right? As Tim was saying, yeah, exactly. What do you?
Big L's comment: had some fruitcake at lunch, still tipsy.
Well, no, I mean, and check with check. Well, I don't know about Max Miller, but check with Alton Brown, because that recipe is specifically Alton Brown's, and
Free-range fruitcake.
And he said, 6 months to a year of basting, it gets better and better and better. I love the fact that AI puts a fake signature into it. You notice that? Wants to take credit. Right. Yep. Actually, mint pie, there is a mint pie too, which is actually pretty good. That's okay, Penny. I understand, but hit that subscribe button next time. Next time, it won't give you any grief. That looks great. Is that AI generated too? Damn it. Why didn't you just Google up mincemeat pie and grab a picture? AI generated. you trying to make Sophia feel good, like you're going to hurt people for the artwork. Well, well.
I can hear you.
Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Sorry. Hold on a second. No. Just in the presentation. I forgot to add you to the presentation.
What?
So they couldn't hear you. I apologize.
Well, I was just talking about how I had made this mincemeat pie myself earlier. It took me a few hours.
You lie! You lie! What he was actually saying is this is an AI generated picture too.
Looks tasty though.
Although, damn, I could absolutely believe this was legit. Although, if you think about how this cake would have had to have been made, it would be difficult. But I do feel like when I see certain things in AI generated pictures, I'm like, someone should try to do that. It can be done.
All right, so let's see here. Mincemeat pies. Give me a moment here.
Darth Blader's 100% right. Oh, it's Troy issues. Yep, that's absolutely right.
The New England Society. On May 11th, 1659, the Massachusetts Puritans banned Christmas and ordered anyone caught celebrating to pay a fine of 5 shillings. That meant no mincemeat pie during what used to be the Yuletide season. What?
Yeah.
Of all the ways to celebrate Christmas, mincemeat pie held a special place. Myth and superstition had grown up around the holiday tree, and the Puritans would have none of it. They called the mincemeat pie idolatry in a crust. I have this image of them bringing some guy before them and says, "Let me smell your breath." And he's, no, I didn't have one. Okay. Say the Lord's Prayer. And then he starts saying, and then he burps in the middle of it. And then, we got you. We got to hang you.
Grills Random Thoughts is having a rough night tonight. He says, just swinging by to say hi, but my chest feels the way my chest feels makes me want to take a toaster bath. Oh my gosh, my friend. So I'm going to head to bed early. Yes, you go get rest and feel better in the morning
and drink plenty of fluids.
Curtis Selby, the tired midnight blogger, says, "I'm home. Merry Christmas, Troy and Boomer. Welcome."
But this goes on.
And mincemeat pie is good food in Valheim. There you go.
Mincemeat pie is also carried political overtones in a time of deep partisan animosity.
Night Penny.
Eating mincemeat pie during the holidays showed you sided with the monarchy rather than the Puritan recusants. I have not heard that word before. I'll have to look that up. For a time, the mincemeat pie had the same effect on a Puritan that a MAGA hat would have on an NPR devotee. I'm sorry. That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
So how did mincemeat pie become so controversial? The Puritans, for starters, hated Christmas. Back in the 17th century, the holiday bore little resemblance to the cozy family celebration of modern times. It was more an echo of Saturnalia, when Romans indulged in unrestrained revelry, boozing, gambling, and letting their libidos go. They also made sweet meat pies as an essential part of Saturnalia. At Christmas time in England, young men continued the Saturnalia tradition. They roamed the streets, barged into homes, and demanded booze, money, and figgy pudding. They did it too in colonial England, New England towns. I'm sorry. I'm imagining guys like the guys in Clockwork Orange says, "I demand a figgy pudding." I'm sorry.
Real quick, welcome Slasher Fred. Put a pin in that. We're going to get to that one. That's on the list.
In Boston, Increase Mather denounced Christmas celebrants as consumed in compotations, in interludes, in playing at cards, in revelings, in the excess of wine, in mad mirth. Well, we got to put a stop to that. Mincemeat is a Middle Eastern... mincemeat is a Middle Eastern method of cooking meat with fruit and spices. The Crusaders may have brought it back from their Crusades. At least they brought back the spices. Cultural appropriation, if you ask me. I'm sorry. I'm being
Well,
bad. Uh, Medieval English cooks made mincemeat with meat, any kind of meat, mutton, goose, beef tongue, even lamb testicles. They,
yep. Okay.
I'm
Let
sorry.
me
You
interject
take
something.
over. I can't anymore.
No, let me interject something. I
Oh,
get the humor there, but
oh,
let's go back. Okay. The
oh.
original reason for this, and for many of the foods that we've come to enjoy, think about some of the foods that we eat. Puddings and cakes and breads doused in alcohol, right? Mincemeat pie, these sweet, sugary, but containing meat originally. Okay,
Interesting.
dried meats that are reconstituted, and so forth.
So it's like beef jerky.
Yes, pickled foods. These are all things that we that different cultures associate with holidays. Why was this? Because when you live in a climate that gets, that has a winter time, you need to preserve foods through the winter. How do you do that? And there are several ways: drying, pickling, including, dousing in alcohol, right? And high amounts of sugar. I was talking about that earlier, how sugar, you put enough sugar into something, it becomes shelf stable. I did this with strawberries. I covered them if you take a bowl of strawberries in the middle of summer and you just pour an equal quantity of sugar over them, it will draw all the juices out. The strawberries basically become pulp, and you could do what you want with them. You can put them over your waffles, or make a pie out of them or whatever. The juice, you boil and reduce that down, put it in a jar, put it in your on a shelf, and it'll stay almost indefinitely because it's almost all sugar. Tastes wonderful, and makes a great syrup over your ice cream or whatever.
Or shaved
Same
ice.
thing with these cakes. If you take and you dice up meats and you put them into a pie with a lot of sugar and a lot of honey and a lot of fruit, now you got meat pies that you can serve throughout the winter.
It's like your dessert and your meal in one package.
It kind of is. It's exactly right. Now, over the years, it became less and less necessary to preserve meats. As we get into the industrial age, as we start having refrigeration, we start having local farmers that can continue butchering meat throughout the winter. You had distribution lines where you could keep cattle alive, even if you were in winter areas, because you're getting food shipped in. This is what progress is. So now, okay, we don't have to, have mincemeat pie. We can make it sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, and yet you eventually end up with the equivalent of, what we have today, which is apples and cranberries and whatnot.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Darth Plato, rail changed everything. Yes, not only getting like corn and wheat and rice brought in for, from other areas in the middle of winter, but getting ice to warm places for your drinks and for making ice cream before refrigeration. There was that overlap of time.
Now I have to see if that tasting history guy has made a mincemeat pie in this channel.
Yes, he has.
Mincemeat pie was such a Christmas favorite that people called it Christmas pie. Every family made one. A most learned mixture of neat's tongue, chicken, eggs, sugar, raisins, and 19th century antiquarian John Timms observed. Family cooks also made mincemeat pie on Stir Up Sunday, the last Sunday before Advent. They believed they should only stir it clockwise because stirring it the other way would bring bad luck. For good luck, each member of the family stirred the mixture while making a wish. Another superstition held that a mincemeat pie should be eaten every day during the 12 days of Christmas for health and happiness in the new year. Okay.
It was
Well,
a superstition, but again, it was based on the whole idea of where are you going to get your protein, you know?
I got to read this though. Oliver Cromwell takes over.
Oh God.
Remember in Time Bandits when
Yeah.
he was when Napoleon's complaining about the English, he says, Cromwell, the only one of you that had any stones or something. Remember that? He was
Yeah.
he respected Cromwell. I thought that was funny. When the Puritans overthrew King Charles in 1641, they did their best to discourage Christmas celebrations. They viewed it as pagan, popish, a time to pretend the memory of Christ into an extreme forgetfulness of him by giving liberty to carnal and sensual delights. They're making it sound like Mardi Gras.
That's how the church viewed it. That's true.
Right. In 1647, Parliament made the celebration of Christmas a punishable offense. They tried to force shopkeepers to stay open and ban special religious observances on Christmas, Easter, and White Sun, the seventh Sunday after Easter.
And keep in mind, that's why many people left England to come to the United States. Well, to America. It eventually became the United States. And that was exactly why we wanted to be able to celebrate religion as we saw fit.
Yes, and not have a state.
So when you heard in your history books about religious persecution, this is exactly what they were talking about, exactly this kind of thing.
Town criers went through London shouting, "No Christmas, no Christmas." Soldiers were ordered to patrol the streets and seize any items like mincemeat pie used to celebrate the holiday. Ron Ryder mocked the Puritan hatred of mincemeat with the lines, "Treason's in a December pie and death within the pot." You know what? You think it's funny, pal.
I'm telling you, this is why our country is the way it is today, because of what it was founded on. We had a lot of people in this country who said whether it was mincemeat pie or muskets, Mullen La Bay, MFer.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Like their English followers, Massachusetts Puritans had no truck with Christmas or Christmas pie. Puritan leaders increased. May 3rd denounced the holiday, saying people celebrate not because of the birth date of Christ. They did it, as he wrote, because the heathen Saturnalia was a time kept in Rome, and they were willing to have those pagan holidays metamorphized into Christian ones, he said. Okay. Puritans did their best to stamp out Christmas through social pressures. However, some still observe such festivals as were superstitiously kept in other countries to the great dishonor of God and offense of others. I'm wondering if this stuff carried over in England, though, to Dickens' era, though, even when they got rid of the Puritans, because wasn't that a whole big thing in that movie?
So,
because they were not being too great
so
about
in
Christmas.
Dickens' era, you had a shift in the way Christmas was being celebrated, and ironically, while Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol as a plea to kind of keep traditional Christmas as he knew it alive, what it has actually done for our generation is keep the Industrial Revolution era Victorian Christmas alive for us.
I see.
So he kind of succeeded, but he ended up preserving Christmas as it was becoming, rather than what he had remembered. Irregardless, and yes, irregardless is a word, and I'll fight anyone who says it's not. It is exactly as you said. There were, well, keep in mind too, the Puritans kind of left England, and
some of them were getting persecuted too. Yes,
and what you had was the Anglican Church, right? Which but it was also because of the way things were going. They weren't seeing it as important. They weren't seeing it as it was becoming more secularized. There wasn't the feeling of a need for that kind of celebration. Really, it's not really about the Christian Christmases. It's not even really about the if you really pay attention to Dickens, it's not even really about Christmas traditions. It's about that family, about coming together, about, that kind of unity that was missing. You see that very
Make it more
clearly.
about the family holiday rather than drunken revelries in the streets. Yes.
Well, yeah, there's
There
definitely
were the
that.
people going around for the figgy puddings, and I imagine that at some point that got some patriarch furious at some point, probably.
Exactly. Unfortunately, I can't see the name. All I can see is your @ So Croberts 8866. Welcome. Christmas went from pious reflection to a celebratory occasion,
Right.
and honestly, I think it needs to be somewhere in between. It really does. This whole idea, and this puritanical idea that music is sinful and dancing is sinful and any kind of celebration is sinful. You got to be somber all the time. That's not very Christian, right? Christ himself said that God wanted you to have life and have it to the full. He didn't want you to be unnecessarily miserable. He wanted you to be happy. He wanted you to celebrate. Heck, Christ himself made the best wine for a wedding celebration.
But
right?
what I find ridiculous about this is food. This isn't even an alcohol. Well, maybe some of them were alcoholic. I don't know.
Well,
but
yeah, but you're not gonna really get drunk off of a mincemeat pie.
I mean, the point is, this is what people eat for sustenance, and were they too tasty? Is that the problem? And I have a question for you. Have you had a mincemeat pie?
I've had several different kinds of mincemeat pie, both the kinds that had a bunch of meat in them and the kind that had no meat in them.
Are they good?
So yes, I have. I liked them.
The ones with meat, what does that taste like? It's like sweet meat, like barbecue? I'm trying to imagine what it would taste like.
That is a great analogy, yeah, except, it's obviously not going to have that brown sugary
like
type.
Molasses.
It's going to be more honey.
Okay.
And straight sugar, really. Honey and sugar, apples, diced apples, and then, chopped up either pork or beef. You were reading they had testicles and tongue and stuff. Keep in mind, nothing ever went to waste. We have this mentality of ooh tripe, ooh testicles, ooh tongue, brains, ew. People that are trying to survive will find a way to prepare any kind of meat.
I've eaten tripe once.
Yeah.
By accident. I was over a friend's house. He's a Mexican American family, and he gave me this bowl of soup at one day. He says, "It's good for hangovers." And I'm eating it. It's like a beef soup. It's a beef soup. Okay, that's all right, but beef feels funny. Then I was eating it, and then I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing bumps. And I'm like, why are there bumps on the this is stomach lining? I realized it. It's like, oh no.
Well, haggis is traditionally served in a stomach bladder, so I mean,
there we go. Well, anyway.
I always thought Scrooge got a bum rap. He wasn't trying to wreck everyone's Christmas like the Grinch. He just wanted to be left alone.
Okay.
But he kind of needed to realize that you need community.
We should probably do a deep dive on A Christmas Carol sometime, because I have my own thoughts on why he's considered what he was doing was bad, because it's not just the fact that he was wealthy, it's the fact he was hoarding the wealth. At least a rich person that's a spendthrift brings it back out into the community. He's just, yes. Go ahead though.
No, Darth Plato is absolutely right. There is this concept that a separation of church and state meant, and this is where they always go wrong, where you're not allowed to have a Bible in school. No, it's the exact opposite of what it means. What it means is I have a right to carry my Bible in school or any other public place, and you have no right to tell me I can't.
Exactly.
That's what the First Amendment means.
Exactly.
Robert's Infinite Realm says, "What's up, party people? My little one wore me out tonight, probably going to sleep soon, but you're on my TV. Merry Christmas if I didn't get a chance to say hi. So later. Yeah, take care, get some rest. I totally understand. You can always catch us on the rerun. And speaking of party people, we are talking about, specifically right now, Christmas party traditions. Although I think we're getting ready to move on to...
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Though I did like
and I'm gonna step away so I can refill my drink while you're telling them about what?
I don't know.
Rupert? Yeah. Neck repair. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to talk to y'all about this as Troy refills his drink. This will probably be taken from Wikipedia. I'd never even heard of this before. But look at him. Huh? I'm assuming that's what he looks like. I trust the AI, don't you? Neck repair. Hold on. Okay.
Skin going up the stairs.
Yeah. Neck repair is a companion to Saint Nicholas as described by the folklore of Germany. He is most popular gift-bringing character in Germany after Saint Nicholas, Chris Kindle, and Der Weihnachtsmann, but is virtually unknown outside of the country. I'd never heard of him. He first appears in written sources in 17th century as a figure in a Nuremberg Christmas procession. The companion of St. Nicholas are a group of closely related figures who accompany St. Nicholas and territories formerly in the Holy Roman Empire or the countries that influenced culturally. These characters act as a foil to the benevolent Christmas gift bringer, threatening to thrash or abduct disobedient children. Jacob Grimm associated this character with the pre-Christian house spirit, like a kobold or an elf, which could either be benevolent or malicious, but whose mischievous side was emphasized after Christianization. Knecht Ruprecht is St. Nicholas' most familiar attendant in Germany. Knecht Ruprecht is known as Hans Ruprecht, but is also referred to as the Hilo Christ, the Holy Christ, while Mecklenburg, he was called Ruklaus. In Altmark in the East Friesland, he's known as Bia and Biljarkilas. Knecht Ruprecht first appeared in written sources in the 17th century as a figure in the Nuremberg Christmas procession. I already said that. Samuel Taylor Coleridge encountered a Knecht Ruprecht character in a 1798 visit to Ratzeburg, a town in northern Germany, which he described as outfitted in the high buskins and a white robe, a mask, and an enormous flax wig. Ruprecht otherwise is described as wearing a black or brown robe with a painted hood and sometimes walking with a limp because of a childhood injury or carrying a long staff or a bag of ashes or occasionally wearing little bells on his clothes. Sometimes he rides on a white horse and sometimes he is accompanied by men with blackened faces dressed as old women or by fairies. None of this makes any sense to me, but that's okay. I'm going to keep reading. All right. According to Alexander Till, Knecht Ruprecht originally represented an archetypal manservant, and he has exactly as much individuality of social rank and as little personal individuality as Junker Hans and the Bier Mikkel. The characters represented representative country nobility and peasantry, respectively. Till also states that Knecht Ruprecht originally had no connection with Christmas time. You don't say. Ruprecht, one of the German forms of Robert, was a common name for the devil in Germany. And Grimm states that Robin Goodfellow is the same home sprite whom we in Germany call Knecht Ruprecht and exhibit to children at Christmas. According to some stories, Ruprecht began as a farmhand, and others, he is a wild foundling whom St. Nicholas raised from childhood. Are you there?
I am here. Why?
What on earth am I reading here, dude? This is some weird stuff. Now, as someone of German ancestry, because that's one side of my family who came over during, I think, was the 1850s when everybody was fleeing Bismarck. But sounds like the origin of Santa's helpers. That's what it sounded like to me. And, maybe this guy has gotten a bum rap, like maybe the kids deserve to be, grabbed and thrown in the pit or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Little shits, right? I'm just saying, I'm sorry. I'm just,
this is, and we're going to talk about a couple different characters, including St. Nicholas and Santa Claus and whatnot. There are all variations on a theme, and it seems like every culture has somebody with their own legends. And keep in mind, every generation does this. You have your ideas. Well, those of us of our generation have our ideas about who Christmas is because of Rankin and Bass. It's the whole concept of the monoculture. We share these ideas and stories, and they shape who we are. These are the old stories that have led to where we are.
Oh, Crobert 8866 says, bag of ashes. That where a lump of coal came from. That's interesting. I didn't think.
It kind of absolutely makes sense. I actually like what he said here about the Constitution limits the state, not the faith. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, the lump of coal thing, that wasn't always a bad thing.
Well, if you think about it, that's true. Yeah.
Way back in the day, if a child got a lump of coal, that meant that they got to be warm that night.
That is true from a certain. It just depends on how you look at it, right?
Yes, because they were so poor that lump of coal meant they could actually put that into the fireplace and warm the family that night.
Jesse says that Nacht Rupert reminds him of the origin of the Santa's helpers. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? Well, we'll get to Krampus too. Don't worry about that.
Oh, he's on the list. Yeah, I couldn't leave him off. I'm like, I'm going to leave Krampus off. And I was like, you can't leave Krampus off. You got to put.
I know from my tours in Germany that the Christmas spirit does visit the small children in the home in the guise of an elder daughter covered head to toe in white lace. That is true as well. Yeah,
that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. Just okay. Let's move on. I don't feel like hanging out with. I don't even know if that Befana.
Speaking of female representations at Christmas time,
exactly. Are we going to Italy now? Is that what this is?
Yes.
Okay. Look, I'm piping these things into the AI. This is what it gives me, so don't yell.
That's not bad. That's
okay.
Not bad.
I don't know if it got the other guy right. Of course, it did some creepy ones. Maybe those were more accurate to the previous guy. But I'm thinking these are the more benevolent spirits, and the things we're going up next are not. Okay, in Italian folklore and folk custom, the Befana is a witch-like old woman who delivers gifts to children throughout Italy on Epiphany Eve, the night of January 5th, in a similar way to Santa Claus Santa Claus or the Three Magi. The Befana is a widespread tradition among Italians and thus has many names. She is a part of both popular national culture and traditional folk culture, and is akin to other figures who roam about sometime during the 12 days of Christmas and reward the good, punish the bad, and receive offerings. The Befana is a mysterious, contradictory figure of unclear origins. This character is enhanced by the fact that she is overall neglected by scholars, but is the subject of much speculation by the ones who do mention her. Pre-Christian, Christian, and syncretism of the two have been postulated as explanations of her origins. In some parts of Italy, especially in central regions, mumming takes place on Epiphany Eve. Dolls are made of her, and effigies are burnt, and bonfires are often lit. She brings gifts to good children, typically sweets, candies, or toys, but coal to bad children. She is usually portrayed as a hag riding a broomstick through the air, wearing a black shawl that is covered in soot because she enters children's houses through the chimney. Ah, that's where that came from. She is often smiling and carries a bag or hamper filled with candies, gifts, or both. She is not only loved but feared and mocked, particularly by children. I don't know if you wanted to read something. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you very much for the $2 super chat. There were more than 3 wise men or magi.
There were?
Well, there's a lot of debate about that.
Well, the Bible never says how many.
It never says how many.
It mentions 3 in particular, correct? But it doesn't.
No, it does not.
It doesn't.
It does not.
Okay,
it mentions 3 gifts.
No, It doesn't even do that. We don't even know what the 3 gifts were, or what the gifts were.
Yes, Frankenstein's mirror and the other one.
Just like the names of the 3 magi, Balthazar, Melchior, and someone or other else. That is all from tradition. That is not actually in Scripture. This is crucial, Christians. You guys never add to. Be a Berean. Go back and read your scriptures and see what it actually says.
It was written.
The reason that people say 3 wise men is because we know it was more than 2. It could have been 3. It could have been 4. It could have been 15.
So it's filling the blanks into something, but we don't know specifics.
Exactly.
Okay.
People like to create fan fiction for things, and that often happens with religious stories. So, but it is true, we don't know there to be specifically three wise men, but it was definitely more than two.
So just say it does say the arrival of the wise men to Jerusalem threw the entire city into a stir, because they were not they were foreign, right? They were not from.
One of these days, maybe I should really do a talk about the nativity story. There is a lot there that I think Christians are missing by not understanding.
Might be a
Go
good
ahead.
might be a good liquid lunch.
I will. I think you're right. Maybe I will do that this week for Liquid Lunch, because who were the wise men? Where were they from in the West? And why were they following the star, looking for a king? It all ties back to the Old Testament and the prophecies, and David and Daniel and their time in the West, and you're right. That's a story for another time. But there's a lot of good stuff there that you might be interested in.
Anyway, do you know of this lady right here? You were you come from an Italian family. Was she ever mentioned? I'm curious.
Well, yeah. So my grandmother, didn't really. She mentioned it, but this was never a big thing for us, obviously. Because even my grandmother, she was first generation born here in the States, so she grew up in the United States. She grew up with the American traditions, but she knew of this. Look, I don't know that much about the folklore about her, but what I can tell you is the concepts of the witch, the crone, right? It exists all over the world in some way, shape, or form. Why? Because elder women have wisdom. They're someone that you go to for how do I deal with this cough that I have? How do I deal with the bunions on my feet? Stuff like that. Folk wisdom, folk remedies, and so forth. These kinds of things contribute to this idea of witches and magic and all this kind of stuff. And it's not always a bad thing. People tend to get it all tied up with, evil spirits, and they get their wisdom from bad sources and whatnot. It's not, we might be going too far down that rabbit hole, but you should not be too surprised when you see in Italy this concept of an old crone, punishing the bad children, bringing gifts to the good children, and riding around on a broomstick. It's blendings of folklore that you really have to.
But she does come down.
Odysseus sought wisdom from women of power. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, this is why archetypes exist. Yeah.
But I remember, though, the wrenching, she comes down the chimney, and I'm wondering if that was added to the Santa Claus mythos.
Right, you are, Darth Plato. That's what I was getting to. Yep.
Interesting. Okay, good to know. Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever read that about the gold, frankincense, and myrrh in any Bible passage. Now that you mention that, so that's good point. I gotta. Anyway, but you'll discuss that later. But should we move on from her, or do you want to hang out with this witchy woman, or maybe she's not a witch?
You're gonna get me singing Eagles songs. No, let's.
I mean, she seems okay. She seems better than the last guy. I'll say that.
Definitely better than this guy.
Krampus. What on earth? This is just messed up. I had a few. I'll show you the other outtakes, but I like this one the best.
I like how he looks like a minotaur in this one.
He looks like he's got to tear some stuff up. Who came up with this? It's like, the kids are having too much fun at Christmas. Let's dial this down a shade.
And this is what I'm talking about, this blending of traditions, right? There's probably some pagan here meeting the Christian influence and so forth, and they kind of butt up against each other.
Yeah. The Krampus is
it does mention gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But I'm sorry. You know what? You're right about that. Jay and or Leanne, and I hope you guys are doing well, by the way. I know you guys have had a rough couple of days. That's another reason why they focus on 3. They're like, well, we know there's
the
plural.
3. Okay.
We know there's 3 different gifts, so let's just say 3 wise men. That's not appropriate reasoning. They could have brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and there could have been 3. There could have been 2. There could have been 15. Like I said,
we just assume, but as we say, what happens?
There's another assumption made when Jesus, Mary, and Joseph flee from Galilee to escape the persecution by Herod. They go to Egypt, and tradition, and it's also just an assumption based on logic, was that the way they were able to support themselves was with this gold, frankincense, and myrrh that was given to them as a gift, almost as if it was all planned out by the Creator.
Makes sense.
Yes, getting back to the topic at hand, Darth Plato says the OG Grinch. Yes, kind of true.
The Krampus is a horned anthropomorphic figure who is central in the Central and Eastern Alpine folkloric tradition, is said to accompany St. Nicholas on visits to children during the night of 5 December, immediately before the feast of St. Nicholas on the 6th of December. In this tradition, St. Nicholas rewards well-behaved children with small gifts, while Krampus punishes badly behaved ones with birch rods. Yikes.
Yeah.
The origin of this figure is unclear. Some folklorists and anthropologists, I should know that word. I took an anthropology class once. Have postulated that many have pre-Christian origins, although historians generally consider this unlikely, as it is not attested until the 16th century. In certain traditional parades and in such events as the Krampuslauf, some young men dressed as Krampus attempting to scare the audience with their antics. Krampus is featured on holiday greeting cards called Krampuskarten. That's right. The figure has been imported to popular culture around the world.
You usually see him depicted with like a really long tongue and a switch that he's hitting a child with.
I had never heard of this guy until I think the 20s.
Really? No, he's become very well.
But when I was older, I didn't hear about him as a kid. I'm like, this was all new to me.
Big in the United States until recently. Real quick, I just wanted to acknowledge. No, don't ever feel badly about correcting me. I am capable of being wrong. I had the spirit of it right. I just didn't have some of the key points, and especially since I feel so strongly about that in particular. You go right ahead and correct me if I'm wrong. No worries.
Yeah, I will. I might do some research on that myself. I'm curious now. Let me see here, though. Going back to what we were talking about this wonderful.
All I'm saying is, and I encourage you too, Boomer. Go back and read what the Bible actually says about the Christmas story.
Exactly.
We're so used to watching movies and watching Rankin and Bass and all this kind of stuff.
Oh. Don't watch that Netflix Mary movie. Holy cow, that's that played fast and loose with things. Even I know better.
Well, it's the same thing with the little drummer boy from Rankin and Bass. Great little story, a lot of fun. But again, they double down on there were 3 of them, and there was Melchior and Balthazar, and I don't remember who the third one was.
Well, yeah, I mean, like they're interesting stories. Like I think I.
Did you also notice that generally they are depicted as being an Asian king, an African king, and a white king, because they're like not specifying what area of the West they're from, right? Because all of that could be West depending on where you're at. But they were probably from Babylon.
What I did find interesting, though, was they also, with their own readings, foretold what was going to happen, even though they weren't even of the Jewish religion. I thought that was interesting. So,
well, again, because was it Daniel? Daniel was taken to Babylon, and then became an advisor to the king in Babylon.
Interesting.
With all of his prophecies, well, their magi learned from him, and
I see. So they were following.
Remember what was Jesus here for? He was here to fulfill prophecies.
Exactly.
Whose prophecies?
Okay, well, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
So, or like back to Krampus, discussing his observations in 1975 while in Erding, a small town in Styria, anthropologist John J. Honigman wrote that the St. Nicholas festival we are describing incorporates the cultural elements widely distributed in Europe. St. Nicholas himself became popular in Germany around the 11th century. The feast dedicated to this patron of children is only one winter occasion in which children are the objects of special attention, other than being others being Martin Mass, the Feast of the Holy Innocents, and New Year's Day. Masked devils acting boisterously and making nuisances of themselves are known in Germany since at least the 16th century. While animal masked devils combining dreadful comic antics appear in medieval church plays, a large literature, much of it employed by European folklores, bears on these subjects. Austrians in the community we studied are quite aware of heathen elements being blended with Christian elements in the St. Nicholas customs and in other traditional winter ceremonies. They believe Krampus derives from a pagan supernatural who was assimilated to the Christian devil. Interesting.
Now, here's what's interesting, and this is where you could get into the anthropology of it. And this is where this tradition is actually still very popular over in Eastern Europe. That they have people that I guess we would consider it to be cosplay, right? They cosplay as Krampus, right? And you'll get a whole bunch of these guys together, and they'll wear these very elaborate costumes with digigrade stilts and all this kind of stuff. They go out and they get shit-face wasted, and then they go through the streets dressed as these demons, raising all kinds of ruckus. And I swear, from, like I said, from an anthropological standpoint, I could totally see this being, look, there's this natural inclination to drink and party and so forth. Let's get these people that are gonna do this, and you guys are in your debauchery, and we want people to see that only the devils behave this way. So if you're gonna scare people, at least you're playing out a morality play. I mean, this is just my theory on it, but it works really, really well when you think about it.
Anyway, yeah, Krampus. I don't know, man. This is like a bridge too far for me, man. As far as Christmas traditions go, like this is where I guess the American in me sees the European. Like a lot of us Americans, we claim a European ancestry, but you can't really go home again.
You liberal Americans and your spare the rod. This is spare the rod, spoil the child. You want to be all touchy-feely. Everyone is beautiful in their own way. Everyone gets a toy no matter how bad they were. No. The good children get rewarded. The bad children get whipped on the backside with a switch.
Well, there you go. Okay. Anyway, I just thought it was they got put on the naughty list. But anyway, let's move on to you thought he was bad. Hans Trap. This is the other evil one I picked.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
This is some very interesting stuff. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
This is where we start getting into the spooky ghost stories that people.
I mean, is this Halloween time right now? This is
almost.
Yeah. What is this? This is Hans Trap, the Christmas cannibal scarecrow. What? As we delve into the intriguing legend of Hans Trap, we find ourselves traversing through the rich tapestry of history, folklore, human psychology that is woven into this chilling narrative. Hold on. Let me get out of here. Got an ad. Okay. Let me see. Nestled in the French regions of Alsace, I'm going to butcher this, Alsace and Lorraine, the legend of Hans Trap emerged against the backdrop of the 1400s, a time when the ominous figure of this Christmas scarecrow struck fear into the hearts of locals. But why did such dark tales root in this region, and what historic elements contributed to the creation of this boogeyman? Join us as we embark on a journey through the bone-chilling narrative that is anything but your typical Christmas carol. Prepare to meet the anti-fairy tale that is Hans Trap, the Christmas cannibal scarecrow. So Hans Trap, known as Hans von Trotha, was a German knight and marshal of the Prince Elector of the Palatinate. Born around 1450, he wielded power and influence, commanding 2 castles and earning the French honorary title of Chevalier d'Or. The strife that unfolded between von Trotha and the church, leading to his excommunication, mirrors the power struggles and conflicts of the time. Was he a Templar?
He was a precursor to Hans Gruber.
Okay, I guess so. It was a tale of defiance, revenge, and most notably, a damming of the Wieslauter River that left the downstream town of Westenberg without water. Such actions, though not as gruesome as the legend suggests, undoubtedly left a lasting impression on the local populace. The association of Hans Trapp with the Black Knight, a formidable specter that sometimes linked to Santa Claus in local legends, reflects a blending of reality and myth. Von Trotha's towering structure and defiance against both the church and the emperor added layers to his persona, contributing to the creation of a figure that transcended his historical identity. The local folklore, in its evolution, transformed von Trotha into Hans Trapp, a restless spirit haunting the Wasgau at night, and even a character used to frighten children in Alsace. Legends say that his thirst for power led him down a treacherous path, making deals with the devil himself. Trapped with his dreams of power shattered, retreated to the misty mountains of Bavaria in Germany. Here, in his makeshift home, he brooded, and his once human desires twisted into something dark and sinister. It was during his isolation that he developed a taste for the forbidden, a hankering for the flavor of human flesh. Quel horror. I guess that's French for what horror. Okay. And so he transformed into the Christmas scarecrow, draped in straw, waiting on desolate roads for unsuspecting victims. One fateful day, a young shepherd's boy, innocent and tender, crossed paths with this frightful figure Trap. With a heart colder than the winter winds, stabbed the poor lad with a sharp stick. Oh, but it gets darker. He carried the limp body back to his lair, slicing it into pieces and roasting it like some macabre feast. But lo and behold, before he could feast upon the gruesome meal, a divine lightning bolt, a punishment from the heavens, struck him down. His wicked spirit, they say, still lingers, haunting naughty children in the guise of a scarecrow, a boogeyman in the dark, ready to pounce if they stray from the path of goodness. Did you hear all that?
Yes, I absolutely did. I mean, again, the anthropologist thought process is going through my mind. You have somebody who becomes immortal by eating the flesh of other human beings. You think the vampire, the werewolf, the wendigo, the zombie, or what are they called? The ghoul, right?
Yes, the ghoul, yes.
This idea of an undead creature sustaining itself on other human beings. And again, we've talked before many times about the scary ghost stories of Christmases long, long ago, the long tradition of telling ghost stories at Christmas time. I know that for many people in the West, it's a surprise, this whole idea of, is this Halloween or is this Christmas? The answer is yes. Actually, The Nightmare Before Christmas makes a whole lot more sense traditionally than, your typical, Santa Claus, type stories, when you look at the overall history.
What on earth? This is the most ridiculous thing. It's a cannibal scarecrow. He pretends to be a scarecrow, and then when you get close to him, he beats your face. I mean, I don't know what's the deal. Is that
it's a ghost story to tell at Christmas time. It's really what it is, and these things end up being retold over and over and over again.
And if you're naughty, he's going to come after you. It sounds like he's going to come after you whether you're naughty or not, because he went after that shepherd boy.
That's always the recurring theme, right? Even to this day, even in the 70s and 80s when you had all the slasher stories, who were the kids that got killed? All the ones that were out having sex, right? They're the ones that got killed first. Who was the last girl? She was always the responsible one.
The maiden, exactly. They call in those movies. The final girl. Like, I know one of the Friday 13th girls, this one girl, I guess, was a little on the heavier side, and she was eating bananas, so I guess her thing was gluttony, right? So that's why she gets killed. And it's ridiculous.
And they never say it expressly. It's you get it by implication,
You know, the Scarecrow was one of the consistent Batman villains in all media. Like, even when they had the Scarecrow in a pre-sequence of Batman the Brave and the Bold, he was actually scary on Batman the Brave and the Bold like he is in the other Batman cartoons. They didn't actually, you know, make him goofy like the other villains on that show, you know.
Dude, this isn't a question of creep. It's always been this way. Back to the Middle Ages, back to even before. It is very, very primordial that during the times of the long nights in wintertime, when people are concerned about the wolf at the door because everybody's hungry, right? There's a lot of fear in wintertime. That's why light, long days of summer, that drives away the evil, right? You know, the what do they say? The barrier between worlds is thinnest in the darkness of winter. This has always been the case.
This is why I find Japan bizarre, because their time of telling ghost stories is the summer. And I want to know the historical context for that, because you're right, winter makes more sense.
Yeah.
In fact, wasn't there a Shakespeare play where the boy was about to tell his mom a ghost story, and then suddenly the queen gets arrested or something before he's able to tell? But it was like, on these long nights of winter, a scary story, or
right,
you know, is the best thing to tell.
It's an archetype for a reason. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, let's get off of Mr. Scarecrow here and move on.
Oh, but the one thing I did want to say, you drew the correlation with Batman. Look at Batman's villains, and you will find each one of them to be a kind of reflection of his, right? And in a different way. Batman becomes Batman. He's inspired by the idea. What does he always say? That criminals are a superstitious and cowardly lot, and that's why he chooses to be the Batman, because he uses fear against the criminals. Well, the Scarecrow is the dark reflection who uses fear as a criminal against basically everyone.
So what is Two-Face? The dual personalities, whereas Bruce Wayne Batman versus...
Exactly, where you have the Bruce Wayne Batman.
And then you have Harvey Dent and Big Bad Harv.
Two-Face, yeah.
Yes, okay. All right, but yeah, it's interesting stuff, man. Okay. All right, let me get off. This is freaking me out a little bit. Let's move on. The Christmas Spider.
This one is a big surprise. This one should be creepy, but it's actually kind of sweet when you get into it.
All right, the Legend of the Christmas Spider. Let's bring this.
So I should put this in a little context with Netter here. Netter, because she is the soft-hearted person that she is, she doesn't like anything being killed. So when we see a spider in the house, my first instinct is just kill it and be done with it. She claims it's because, well, I don't want guts all over the place. No, she has to catch it in a cup and take it outside. She never wants a spider to be killed.
Okay, well then she might appreciate this story, huh?
She will appreciate this story.
Well,
yes.
Also spiders are kind of lucky in your house because they eat all the other little bugs that are there.
That's true.
Exactly. Also, this is just a little note. If you have a lot of spiders in your house, there's a couple reasons why it might be, but also look for other bugs in your house, because usually the reason that the spiders are there is because they got a great food source. So you might have another infestation you don't know about.
Some spiders will eat, like the poisonous spiders, to protect you.
There you go. That's something to keep in mind.
The Legend of the Christmas Spider is an Eastern European folktale which explains one possible origin of tinsel on Christmas trees. It is most prevalent in Western Ukraine, where small ornaments in the shape of a spider are traditionally a part of Christmas decorations. Story: a poor but hard-working widow once lived in a small hut with her children. One summer day, a pine cone fell on the earthen floor of the hut and took root. The widow's children cared for the tree excited at the prospect of having a Christmas tree by winter. The tree grew, but when the Christmas Eve arrived, they could not afford to decorate it. The children sadly went to bed and fell asleep. Early the next morning, they woke up and the tree was covered with cobwebs. When they opened the windows, the first rays of sunlight touched the webs and turned them into gold and silver. The widow and her children were overjoyed. From then on, they never lived in poverty again. That sounds like a miracle.
Yeah.
Yes. Variants.
Great story.
Other versions replace sunlight with a miracle from Father Christmas, Santa Claus, or the child Jesus, and tells the story primarily from the perspective of the spiders who wished to see the Christmas tree. The origins of the folktale are unknown, but it is believed they've come from Germany or Ukraine. In Germany, Poland, and Ukraine, finding a spider or a spider's web on a Christmas tree is considered good luck. Ukrainians also create small Christmas tree ornaments in the shape of a spider known as pavukchi, literally little spiders, usually made of paper and wire. They also decorate Christmas trees with artificial spider webs. So the tradition of using tinsel is also is said to be because of this story. That makes sense, actually, as an origin for tinsel, right?
Yeah.
That's probably what it looked like.
We actually have a couple people that drew a correlation to Charlotte's Web. I remember the special of the cartoon of Charlotte's Web playing right around the holidays too. Yeah, there's a Rumpelstiltskin kind of note to it. Yeah, that's true.
What'd you think, Netter?
Well, like I said, I don't mind spiders. And like I said, when I do see them in the house, I will take them outside. But it is interesting. I think the spider webs around the tree was to decorate because, like, I mean, I realize this is just a folk story, but I'm thinking the spiders were like, this is a tree and there's no decorations. Let's make it pretty.
There you go.
And they did.
And I have to say, though, I feel like this is another thing that was taken from Christmas and stuck on Halloween, all the spiders and the webs, right?
Well, here's where I get a little grinchy on it. From a naturalistic standpoint, it doesn't work real well because the idea of a spider in wintertime on a pine tree, because what are webs for? It's usually for catching their food. It's for catching flies and other flying insects for them to eat. They wouldn't survive the winter if they were trying to do that. So,
but if you're indoors and you got this tree there,
if it is indoors, and that is another I don't know if you'd call it a legend, but historically, if we talked about Christmas trees, there was a time when Christmas trees were displayed in the house, hanging from the ceiling upside down, which there's a couple reasons for that. One was you didn't want to waste floor space, and anybody who has a small home or a small living room and needs to move things around in order to make room for a Christmas tree knows this. The other thing was rodents were a bigger problem, and you didn't want your tree on the floor.
Yep.
Giving them a place to nest. So if it hung from the tree, you didn't have that problem. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. That's not so much a legend as an actual true fact of how people have celebrated the holidays over the years. We used to get pine trees for Christmas until one day a tarantula came out of the tree.
Okay, well, that's a Christmas surprise, isn't it?
Which tells me that those trees were being grown in a temperate region and shipped in.
Wow.
You're going to find that a lot of stories, and I'm sure at least half of them are true, of people finding tarantulas in their bananas at the grocery store. Same thing happens.
Oh, now we're doing a kind of a 180 now. We're getting off the myths. Unfortunately, this is a missing...
these are real things that really did happen at Christmas time.
I picked two of them. Yes, this actually is not a legend. This is something that happened. I thought it was interesting enough. It's funny. I was watching Zodiac recently, so that's interesting. Okay. Patty Vaughn's story resonates deeply with those following Suzanne Simpson case this year. Like Suzanne, Patty disappeared nearly 3 decades ago on Christmas Day. The main suspect has always been her husband, J.R. Vaughn, but he has never been charged and has since changed his name. Tonight, so according to her family, Patty had the voice of an angel. The mother of three was ready to start a new life away from her allegedly abusive husband, J.R. Vaughn, but the dream of a fresh start tragically ended on Christmas Day, 1996. She was such a good mom, said Barb Kinsey, Patty's cousin, who was raised with her as a sister. Kinsey has led the search for 28 years. Let me bring up the image here, too. I forgot. I had an image to go with this. Okay. All right. She made their costumes for Halloween, ensured Christmas parties were the best, and was very involved in her church. Kinsey said she sang in a Christian gospel rock group as a lead singer. I wish she could do what she wanted, not what someone else allowed her to do. Patty was last seen by Barbara and her family on Christmas Eve 1996 at their home. She was happier than I'd ever seen her, Kinsey recalled, but we had some tough conversations that night. She was going through a rough divorce, and JR was not taking it well. She asked me if I knew how to file a restraining order because he was stalking her. Patty left that night planning to see her family on Christmas Day, but that day never came. On December 27th, J.R. Vaughn called Patty's family to report her missing. Her car was later found abandoned near her workplace. Investigators discovered blood inside of the car. Despite an attempt to clean it, blood traces were also found in her bedroom using luminol. They found drag marks through the master bedroom into the closet, Kinsey said. Blood was also in the tub sink and on the baseboard. It was enough to process through DNA, and it matched Patty. Investigators said they would arrest him when it matched, but that never happened. J.R. Vaughn has been a person of interest since Patty's disappearance. Nearly 28 years later, remains listed on such. He remains listed as such on the Texas Department of Public Safety website. Kinsey shared details of J.R.'s initial police interview. He refused a polygraph and declined further interviews after the first hour session. Kinsey said he claims someone told him not to be out looking for Patty when she was found under a brush pile with feces and his footprints all around. I'll never forget those words. Kinsey learned about the Texas Attorney General cold case and missing persons unit established in 2021 to assist local law enforcement with unsolved crimes. We've given up hope that JR will ever be prosecuted, but we never give up hope of finding Patty or learning what happened to her, Kinsey said. Someone out there knows something. Recently, individuals have come forward claiming to have shared information with law enforcement. However, it remains unclear if new leads are being pursued. Kinsey directed a heartfelt message to anyone withholding information. If you're watching this, we won't pursue you. Just tell us what happened. You have to live with that knowledge, and you'll take it to the grave. Is it worth it? For Patty's three children who were moved away by their father and are now adults, Kinsey says sends nothing but love. She hasn't seen them since their mother's disappearance. So this is a rather rough story. But again, they were never able to prosecute the man, I guess, right?
Look, we have due process.
I know. I'm not saying he did it. I'm just saying they keep acting like he did it, but you didn't prosecute.
I know, and that's the thing. This is my problem with law enforcement. They're so eager to pin it on somebody. They're more concerned with, cutting corners and having a result than getting to the truth. And that often leads to bad police work. And that's why so many times evidence is thrown out. It's oftentimes because of cutting corners. We're doing Sherlock Holmes on Tuesdays, and Sherlock Holmes does the real detective work, and he's usually making the local constabulary look like idiots. And that's kind of a nod to reality sometimes.
In this case, though, they never even found a body.
Exactly, and that's where the term habeas corpus comes from. You don't have a murder if you don't have a body.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible she was attacked, but we don't know what happened afterwards. I mean,
you can't charge somebody with a murder if you can't prove there was a murder at all.
Yeah.
Because you always have the possibility, well, you know what? Maybe she just left town, changed her name, moved somewhere else. And, You'll never know.
It's a shame, though. I don't know if there have been any updates in this case, but I guess
No,
it's
no, I
unsolved.
looked into it there. I wasn't able to find anything. But
Mom gets sick of her children, ran off the floor. Not necessarily geek flag. We don't know. Body implied by Bob.
actually,
Yeah.
you could lose a lot of blood and still survive. There have been a lot of times people have assumed someone was dead only to find out they were badly injured, and they turn up later on.
Case in point, women lose a lot of blood every month.
That's true. Never
Yeah.
underestimate someone that could bleed for a week every month and not die. Just saying.
What's most likely? Well, that's the thing.
That doesn't matter in court. You need to prove
what you can prove.
You don't put somebody in jail because it's more likely than not. Because think about it.
Well,
someday you might be the one who is completely innocent, but you look guilty. Well, you know what? You're most likely guilty, so we're going to throw you in jail.
So I guess the assumption is that there was a murder and then there was a cleanup, if that's what the police were going with. This guy was the one who reported her missing.
Yes, but he could still have done it and reported her missing to appear innocent.
Right.
True.
We don't know. That's the thing.
That doesn't tell you anything one way or the other, yeah.
We don't like to think about that. Okay. Anyway, moving on to another one. Oh, wait. Who would have thought the author was so much blood in him, Macbeth, about his friend Duncan? Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
They reused that line in the extended edition of Return of the King when oh no, it wasn't blood, though. It was like, who imagines something so small could suffer so much or something.
Yeah.
It was pretending like they'd killed Frodo to demoralize
Right.
Aragorn, but yes. Ben Smart and Olivia Hope. This is really a plain old disappearance, but it's odd. It happened at Christmas time. I don't know if that's the right kind of boat, but I did my best. All right.
Probably not, but okay.
You know something? I blame the AI.
I'll tell you. I don't know.
What the heck?
AI has a real hard time with pictures. It really does.
It's getting better, though, I think. All right, so Ben Smart and Olivia Hope are young New Zealanders who disappeared in the early hours of the morning on New Year's Day on 1st of January 1998. The two princes have been celebrating New Year's Eve at Furnill Lodge at Marlborough Sounds with other partygoers. The pair accepted an offer from a stranger to stay aboard his yacht in the early hours of the morning, and it was the last time they were ever seen alive. The disappearance of the duo sparked one of the most publicized and controversial investigations in New Zealand's history. After a 5-month investigation, the police arrested Scott Walson, a resident of Picton. Hold on, give me a moment here. I am picking the right people, right? Hold on.
Sounds right.
Ben Smart and
Olivia Hope, yes.
That's who I'm doing, right? Okay, sorry. I want to make sure I clicked on the right article. Sorry. Give me a moment. Sorry, I lost my spot.
Says HS Air Bike.
Is that what it says on the boat?
Air baked. HS Air baked.
You know what? It's trying. Leave it alone. Okay, after
at least it's letters that can be pronounced. I've seen crazier stuff.
After a 5-month investigation, police arrested Scott Watson, a resident of Picton. The police were subsequently accused of manipulating the media to make Watson look guilty before they arrested him. Guy Wallace, who was a key witness, was presided with a photo montage that may have led to misidentification of Watson as a possible perpetrator. Scientific controversy, including the possibility of contamination surrounding the analysis of 2 hairs found on Watson's boat. Yeah, this would have been a bigger boat than that. Okay. The Crown called for over 400 people to testify at the trial. 2 prisoners testified that once Watson was on remand, he admitted to murdering Smart and Hope. Years later, one of them admitted he lied. Well, that's not good if the guy says he's...
No, and in fact, this is statistically, when you have a confession, it's more often than not, confessions are false.
The other was granted the use of a car and cell phone for his testimony by the police. The jury was unaware of this, and Watson was found found guilty of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum of non-parole period of 17 years. Livy Hope's father, Gerard Hope, subsequently expressed concerns about the investigation and the trial, disclosing to investigative journalist Mike White that he felt very uncomfortable about the way the Crown ran the case. So even the member of the family thinks this was botched, it sounds. The police investigation and subsequent trial generated considerable media attention and public debate. Watson has maintained he is innocent and has filed several unsuccessful appeals. In June 2024, the Court of Appeal held a hearing at which additional evidence about the hairs in the photo montage were considered. In September 2025, the court released its decision in which it declined to overturn Watson's conviction. The case remains the subject of ongoing speculation in New Zealand as a possible wrongful conviction, and that has been the subject of several books and documentaries. Says here the investigation in December 1997, friends Ben Smart, 21, and Olivia Hope, 17, celebrated New Year's at Phoenix Lodge in Endeavour with 1,500 to 2,000 other party goers. Hope had traveled to the lodge with a group on a chartered yacht, Tamarack, while Smart arrived separately at around 4 a.m. Celebrations wound down. The duo returned to the Tamarack where they were intended to sleep. When Hope and Smart found others had taken their book place on the boat berths, they boarded a passing water taxi driven by bartender Guy Wallace. At the time, Wallace had 3 other passengers on board, Hayden Morrissey, Sarah Dyer, and an unidentified man who became crucial to the police investigation. The unidentified man offered the pair a place to sleep on what he said was a yacht. Wallace let Smart and Hope off with this man on the yacht and dropped off the other 2 passengers on the dock. This was the last time Smart and Hope were ever seen. So
Boomer, you should have AI'd a bigger boat.
All right, I had bigger boat pictures. I typed in the type of boat, and that's what it gave me. I thought, anyway.
Yes, I do believe you're right. Lacey Peterson also disappeared around Christmas time. We actually had a whole bunch of crimes that happened around Christmas time. We had to narrow it down.
So wait a minute. They said a mysterious man. Was that Wallace, or was that the guy doing the taxiing? None of this makes any sense. Okay, police investigation. Ben Smart and Olivia Hope were reported missing on 2nd January 1998. Initially, the Blenheim police treated the investigation as a missing persons case, but it soon became apparent that the disappearances was suspicious and out of character for the duo. Detective Inspector Rob Pope was appointed to take charge of the investigation on the 5th of January, and a mix of police staff from across the country joined the investigation. It became a homicide case, codenamed Operation Tam, short for Tamarack. The investigation featured requests for the information from the public, significant numbers of interviews from across the country, and months of extended researches of the waters surrounding the Endeavour Inlet. Despite this, no bodies were ever found. I'm curious, if the bodies were dumped overboard, wouldn't they have washed up?
Well,
not necessarily. There's a number of reasons that they might not.
Okay.
It's not a guarantee, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a lot of trees along the shore, they could have got stuck on tree roots. I watched a lot of crime shows.
Yeah.
I see. In his police statements on the 3rd and 5th of January, Guy Wallace, the driver of the water taxi, described the unknown man with whom Hope and Smart left his water taxi as having 2 days growth on his face, possibly arm tattoos, wiry build, 5'9", short, dark, wavy hair, being scruffy in the appearance. That's what happens when I mute. Whenever I'm and wearing a Levi shirt with jeans, Wallace maintained that the man on the taxi was the same man he and other staff had served in the lounge bar earlier that evening. So there were other witnesses of this person.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I thought the only witnesses were the other passengers who could have been inebriated, so that's not going to be any good. But Wallace was subsequently shown 2 photographs of Watson in montages when he was interviewed by police on 9 January 1998, but said he did not recognize anyone in the photographs. Police then charged the photo of Watson in the montage using a different one, in which he had his eyes half closed. This became known as the blink photo. On 20th April 1998, Wallace was shown a new montage, knowing montage B containing the blink photo. Not realizing this was Watson, Watson said this could be the mystery man on the boat, but said that while the eyes were the same as the man he had seen that night, the hair of the man in photograph 3 was too short and his appearance was generally too tidy. So they tried giving him fake pictures to catch him in a lie?
Presumably, yeah. This is crack police work, I think, guys, here.
After the trial, Wallace was adamant the police misled him over the photos and said he believed Watson was innocent and he had inadvertently contributed to the incarceration of an innocent man. He maintained this position in multiple interviews of the affidavit until his death in March 2021. Rosalind McNeely, who was bar manager at the Fumi's Lodge on New Year's Eve, also identified Watson from the Blink photo in Montage B. Once she saw the picture of Watson taken the night showing him to be clean shaven, she also recanted and signed an affidavit stating that she had made a mistake identifying them. Wallace said he felt tremendous pressure from the police and media during the investigation. He was interrogated by the detectives from the Christchurch CIB, who initially suggested he was somehow responsible for the disappearance of the teenagers. As a result of the accusation against him by the police, some locals began treating him with suspicion. People he knew began to think he was guilty and shunned him. He said that in the initial stages of the investigation, the police were desperate to arrest someone, and it could have easily been him. I know in my heart of hearts, if Scott wasn't there, I'd be doing time. It's just that simple.
It's funny. Geek Flag with Nate Knows corrects me. He says, "No, Troy, this is police work on crack." Yeah, they were desperate to get someone, and evidence be damned. They want to get their arrest. Leanne says they're keeping me until Monday because I didn't feel well in my head, and they kept me from going to sleep. I have to have an MRI tomorrow. At this point, Leanne, I'm just hoping you're home by Christmas. It's been a real rough road, and I'm really sorry, but thanks for keeping us posted. Man.
And we're all praying for you.
Yep.
Let's see. The focus on Scott Watson. Later in the investigation, lead investigator Rob Pope would say that Watson stood out like dog's balls and had the right sort of agenda and pedigree.
Like dog's balls.
Apparently referring to his criminal record. Watson had 48 criminal convictions at the time, mainly from when he was a teenager: burglary, theft, cannabis offenses, 2 counts of possessing an offensive weapon, and 1 for assault when he was 16. That could just be him getting into a bar fight or something.
Yeah, I mean this is the kind of stuff they come up with, and they say, yeah, he's our murderer because he did cannabis, and we caught him with a weapon, and we got him on assault one time. I'm sorry, none of that says murderer to me.
All right, this goes on.
You guys are real crack criminologists here.
Let's see the hair analysis. The Crown claimed that during the police forensic investigation of Blade, they found a blanket from which 390 human hairs were later recovered. Susan Vertner, a forensic biologist, testified in court that 1 hair was matched to Olivia Hope through DNA testing. Mitochondrial DNA analysis of the hairs was conducted in Australia and the United Kingdom. Police never received the level of validation that they were seeking from these tests that the hairs belonged to Olivia, but still presented the results as evidence at Wilson's trial. Well, wait a minute. So they lied. I mean, they said this is her hair, but we never really got confirmation that it was her hair. Is that what it's saying here?
Yeah, this is another thing that people don't really understand about genetic testing. It's so easy for contamination. I mean, if you have like a piece of a body, right, a piece of skin or something, you can test it. You can be certain this is a chunk of skin from somebody's body. You find a hair. How do we know that wasn't cross-contaminated because they were also testing, the body in that room or something? There's all kinds of things, it's even worse when you get down to drug testing for cocaine. You're testing in a lab where they actually have cocaine, and your hair sample came up with cocaine on it. Yeah, well, try getting that to hold up in court.
All right. So I guess this is still unsolved, though the police would have us think otherwise.
Yep.
This is New Zealand. Okay. Now we have 2 urban legends for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like reading for this, or you want me to
I'll do this one. It's not a long one. I think everyone already knows this one.
Like this image?
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So, Santa stuck in a chimney, sometimes called Santa claustrophobia. A dad who secretly dresses as Santa to surprise his kids sneaks onto a roof, slides down the chimney, gets fatally stuck. He dies quietly, suffocation, broken neck, whatever. The family never knows he's home. They light the fire later, and boom, horrific discovery of charred Santa Dad. Sometimes days or weeks later with a rotting skeleton in a suit. It's pure folklore. Zero verified real cases of anyone in a Santa outfit dying that way. Snopes and folklorists like Jan Brunvand have been collecting versions since the early 90s. But the story really blasted into pop culture in 1984 because of the movie Gremlins. Phoebe Cates' character tells the exact tale about her own dad breaking his neck in a chimney while trying the surprise. That's the moment most people point to as when it went mainstream. Before that, you just get playful Santa's Too Fat for the Chimney, based on songs from the 40s and 50s, but not dead bodies. Real chimney deaths from burglars, runaways, and so forth have happened, but dressed as Santa and undiscovered horrors, that's a Gremlins supercharged myth. But yeah, you can find this one on Snopes.
Yes, and yeah, it's a very convincing story in the Gremlins movie, right?
It sounds plausible. It also sounds stupid. It's like your dad was a dumbass. This sounds like a Darwin Award winner here. I'm sorry, but and I love the fact that they kind of poke at it tongue in cheek by revisiting another trauma from another holiday in the second movie, and the boyfriend just looks at her like, "You got issues, girl."
This was the hardest one to do the AI image for. You'll see some of the outtakes in a few.
That's actually a pretty good one. Yeah, the whole idea of the skeleton,
freaky,
burned or found rotting weeks later. Yeah.
I just like the image. It's
so
really cool.
Here's my personal thing on this. I had thought that there was more to this. I thought this story, I had heard it before Gremlins. I remember hearing it in Gremlins and going, yeah, I've heard this story before. But honestly, I couldn't find any evidence of the story before Gremlins. So maybe I just confabulated that. Want to say hi to Tim Hayes, who's celebrating 14 months of membership. Thank you so much, Tim Hayes. And thank you for being here. So glad to see you here. Mark Daly remembers it from Gremlins. Absolutely. Gremlins is a Christmas story. Absolutely. Leanne says a robber was sucked in a chimney of a house he was going to rob. He called the cops with his cell phone. They came and saved him. Like I said, as I was researching this, I was finding plenty of stories of people that actually, and there's a lot of stories, sadly, about children getting killed in chimneys during the Victorian era, because they used to use children
as chimney sweeps.
Because they were tiny and you could lower them down. Yeah, sometimes they would get injured and sometimes sadly killed. The Phoebe Cates character grew up to steal kidneys from men by drugging them and leaving them in hotel bathtubs full of ice. Yeah, I've heard that urban legend as well.
Yes.
Honestly, I can tell you exactly how I know those stories are not true. Because if someone was harvesting organs, they would not keep you alive by stealing just one kidney or both kidneys and leaving you on ice. They would kill you and they would harvest all of your organs. And it does happen, actually.
Oh, please. Mm-hmm. The Japanese are obsessed. They think it happens too. Anyway.
No, it really does. It really does. There's and I'm not going to mention any specific countries, on air. I don't want to get my channel yeeted, but there are countries that actually subsidize that kind of behavior.
Crucified
Crucified Santa. Yeah, I know this one
Santa. There we
too. Yeah.
go. This is also from Snopes. This was the AI image. If people are offended, well, at least it says this is some lights.
It
Okay.
it is. Yeah.
To be fair, the Romans crucified a lot of people. They
That
probably
is
would have
true.
crucified Santa too. Anyway,
Possibly.
okay.
Yes.
A Japanese department store once created a Christmas display featuring a smiling Santa nailed to a cross. This is the claim. Driven by a thriving retail industry, a cultural penchant for obligatory gift giving, and a fascination with the West, the Japanese adopted and adapted several traditional Western holiday celebrations after World War II, stripped of their meaning and bent to the whim of retailers. However, these holidays have taken some rather unusual forms in Japan over the recent years. The Mary Chocolate Company is credited with bringing Valentine's Day to Japan in 1958, with the twist that it should be a day for girls to give to guys. Naturally, this led to the retail industry's creation of White Day on March 14th, an occasion for the boys to reciprocate all those chocolates they'd been given a month earlier by buying white presents such as white candy, handkerchiefs, or panties for their gals.
Okay.
Well, I mean, why not?
There's been many a Japanese anime where some perv would say panties.
Well, there is, and there's actually an understand. Again, we're getting back to the anthropology here. There is a reason for the penchant for pantaloons in Japanese culture. Why that is? That's probably a topic for another night.
Likewise, the SEBA department store recast St. Pat.
Wait, real quick. Leanne says regarding the people stealing organs, are they related to the Vidians from? I wonder if the Vidian concept is predicated on those kinds of stories. To be honest with you, the cross was elevated higher above the ground. The cross is much too low. Yeah.
What is a decoration, dude? Come on.
Yeah. The whole idea being, though, that the cross was meant to be a warning and deterrent as well. I mean, that's,
Can you imagine putting it up and the scowls you'd get from the neighbors? I'm just saying. Anyway,
I'm trying to figure out, and I know, again, this is AI, but FLWCE.
I don't know what that is. And
I mean, because INRI.
I thought it was they were trying to spell Felice, like Feliz Navidad.
I don't think
this
so.
was the least offensive one they made. There were some nasty ones in there I didn't even put in their presentation.
I'm trying to think. INRI, and I'm forgetting my Latin here. Something. Yeshua. Something,
are you kidding me?
Rex, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews.
Yes.
But what would you do for Santa Claus? It'd be Christos Klaus, King of the North Pole. I don't know.
Anyway, let me move on because this is some fascinating stuff. Likewise, the SEBA department store recast St. Patrick's Day as Green Day, a retail promotion featuring things green and Irish. It didn't work. Yeah, because there are no Irish in Japan. What were they thinking?
Yeah, and the only reason it works here is because, yes, we do have this is also very interesting.
Irish immigrants. It was their day to celebrate.
It's not just Irish immigrants either. There is a great deal of European immigrants who, what I should say is descendants of European immigrants who believe themselves to be Irish, with no evidence that they are, and they almost certainly are not. I've mentioned this before. My father claims that he's Irish, but the fact is he can't trace his lineage back to before whoever it was came to the United States, so he actually has no idea.
He's about as much Irish as I am Japanese.
Yeah, there you go.
Listen,
what would you do for a Klondike bar? I have always said, every time I saw those commercials, I always said I would go to the store and I would buy one.
Would you bark like a dog? Yeah, like would be stuff like that. We should
Well,
do a
I
do a
gotta be
Friday
honest. I
stream about the
bark like a
worst
dog for
commercials
no
we grew
reason
up
at
with.
all. So
We should do commercial stream at some point.
we
Anyway,
could do that. Yeah.
the Japan Biscuit Association touted Halloween as an occasion that Americans celebrate by eating biscuits. No. When that failed to go over well, the custom melded into one of friends giving each other orange candy and cakes. Dude, they're kind of limited in how they see things. You know, like
The other
Japan
thing
only.
too, my understanding is when it comes to the gift giving, because of the way business works and the way social structures works, there's certain obligations about giving gifts and the value of gifts. And
Oh,
like,
it's worse than I think places like Singapore and places like that, from what I've heard. By the
yeah,
way, what was I going to say? Japan did finally get Halloween, but it was more recently. They're finally starting to recognize it over there. But
interesting.
because, like I said, their spooky season's in the summer, not in the fall. Okay.
Yeah,
However, the
yeah.
Western holiday that carries the most influence in Japan, not surprisingly, the holiday that carries the most influence in the West as well, Christmas. Although Saint Francis Xavier, Spanish Jesuit missionary, brought. Turn the page. Christianity to Japan in 1549, the celebration of Christmas was mostly limited to churches and missionary schools until the 20th century. Indeed, Christianity was outlawed in Japan after a religious uprising in 1639 and henceforth practiced only clandestinely until 1854. The exchanging of gifts at Christmas time by Japanese families began in a small way early this century, and I'm assuming the last century, and the Japanese stores began offering Christmas sales in the 1930s. Starting with the American occupation of Japan in 1945, Christianity enjoyed a brief surge in popularity, and Christmas took off in a big and commercialized way. As you'd expect in a country where less than 2% of the population is Christian, Christmas is primarily a secular occasion in Japan, with shops and businesses remaining open that day. The Japanese have adopted many of the traditional trappings of Kirisimasu, such as stories with elaborate displays of Christmas decoration and piped in Christmas music, and homes made festive with Christmas lights, Christmas trees, and poinsettias. The elimination of the religious aspects of Christmas and its hyper commercialization have led to some unique and to us bizarre ways of celebrating it. However, this exchange of Kurosumina cakes is not exactly a Western tradition, but it doesn't sound too unusual to us. What we do find unusual is reports of Japanese Christmas customs, such as young couples exchanging presents of expensive jewelry, heading out to high-priced hotels, and being directed to scantily clad female elves to rooms complete with Christmas trees where the lovebirds spend their Christmas Eve romantic bliss. Okay, less about that, the better. Okay. Co-option of familiar Christmas figures, both secular and religious, in the service of mass merchandising has also produced some rather curious blendings. Colonel Sanders dressed in a Santa suit.
Yes, I've seen that too.
What the heck? As KFC tried strenuously to promote fried chicken as a traditional Christmas meal, nuns singing advertising jingles to the tune of Christmas carols, Christmas cards featuring a ghoulish Santa in a graveyard accompanied by the Virgin Mary on a broomstick, elves plastered on sake, and a Christmas review featuring what the heck?
Okay, wait a minute. You had me at elves drunk on sake. That one actually, I think that needs to become part of Christmas tradition.
Stripping nuns and three lecherous wise men. See, that's where the three came
Stripping.
from. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And sometimes they just don't get it all.
I have no doubt that there's probably on the hub somewhere some videos.
Okay. So, when a Japanese TV station reportedly ran a movie, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, a disturbing film about English soldiers in a Japanese POW as a festive holiday offering. By far the most well-known of these Japanese Western holiday blendings is a notorious story of a department store somewhere in Japan that one year supposedly erected a prominent Christmas display featuring as its centerpiece the smiling figure of Santa Claus nailed to a cross. It's the perfect expression of the clash between the holy and the profane, the secular and the religious, the East and the West. It speaks to xenophobic fears. These foreigners can't be trusted with our religion, our traditions, and it's a darn funny story.
It is kind of funny. It's like the ultimate in misunderstanding. And look, there's also a certain element of you try to see it from a foreign point of view and you're like, I could see the confusion. You know,
There is, yes. The first I'd ever seen this or heard of this actually was not in it was had nothing to do with Japan. It was an English stop motion animated film called The Secret Adventures of Tom Thumb, where you had your regular, like, Tom Thumb was this minuscule creature,
right?
like little boy, and he was animated. But the humans, they actually had regular actors, and they were stop motioned with him. So they also had this weird stop motion feel to them along with the clay figures. It was very interesting. But there's a scene later in the movie where I guess Tom Thumb is stuck in some guy's house, and on the headboard is a crucifix, but it's Santa Claus instead. And I was like, what the heck am I watching here? And that's when I first saw this. And I assume it must have been taken as a nod to this horrifying thing. A few Decembers ago, a Japanese department store, desperate to appear westernized with it, mounted an extravagant Christmas display featuring a real-life Santa Claus crucified upon a cross. The granddaddy of cultural faux pas in Japan occurred just after World War II when a Ginza department store rolled out an elaborate Christmas promotion, a smiling Santa nailed to a cross. Now, I think this has been debunked. Let me go ahead and read the last of this article.
Okay.
Despite all the people who assert that this tale of the Christmas Santa is true and that they know someone who actually saw it, the literal truth of this alleged is suspect. No one, to our knowledge, has produced evidence documenting that such a Christmas display was ever used commercially in Japan, other than as a knowing joke, such as a photograph of the scene or a contemporaneous news account that recorded the date and location. As well, in true urban legend fashion, the details of where, when, and how this crucified Santa Claus was displayed are vague and vary from telling to telling. Santa appeared on a cross in Kyoto, Tokyo, the Ginza district, or a specific department store such as Mitsukoshi. He was represented with a gigantic figure, a life-size display, several small characters, a billboard, or a cartoon drawing, and Santa was nailed to a cross in Japan in 1945 or 1962 or 1990, or anywhere between just after World War II or a few years ago. So what do you think? False?
I, at this point, don't know unless someone can say with certainty, but it seems plausible to me. And I'm not even offended. It's like, I understand, because let's face it, the ugly Americans have screwed up other people's beliefs and customs too. So,
oh please, Mortal Kombat is a brilliant retelling of Chinese mythology. They got nothing wrong. It's a joke. Okay, yeah. It's just.
There you go. So there you go. Those are the some of the legends of Christmas that we were able to find. You're going to show me your AI outtakes here, right?
Any thoughts, Netter, before we move on?
Some of those are just weird.
Yes, I can't disagree.
Like I said, the three lecherous wise men. I'm saying, yeah, there's where your three came from. That's, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, there we go. This is another weirdo European-ish. That's that first guy, the prank.
That's kind of cool, yeah.
That's another one.
That looks like a cross between what's his name? His name and Father Christmas.
I was thinking Moses for a second there because he's got the staff.
Kind of looks like Moses is Santa Claus, right?
And as far as the red for Santa's outfit, that has been around since I'm trying to remember the thing I watched today, something like the 1700s.
Yes,
right. Now talk about the Christmas documentary Die Hard, Nakatomi Plaza.
Oh, please.
Never forget Nakatomi Plaza.
I might watch that with my mom tomorrow.
It's Sauron. You shall not pass. At least not for 12 days.
Oh my goodness!
I kind of like that. The blending of the whole Santa Claus with what's her name?
The witch lady.
Yeah.
She's still riding a broom.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not suffer.
What, does she have an extra arm there? Or is that a leg sticking out of the back?
I thought it was a scarf, but frankly speaking, it's a witch, man. Leviticus. Remember your Leviticus. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Which I suspect might have meant poisoner, because let's face facts, if you're a healer, you can also make poisons, right?
True.
This one just looked goofy. This is Santa.
Telling stories by the fireside.
He's probably reading that milking farm book.
I like the picture in the background. It looks like a lion wearing a Santa hat.
This is ridiculous. I didn't even notice that till now. AI, you're wonderful.
Yeah.
You're wonderful.
It does imply more story than than is actually there, right?
It's a Harry Potter professor. Yes, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of like this one actually. It's like
because Santa's Kryptonian.
Yeah, you don't need. I don't need no. I don't need no. No.
I don't need a sled just fly through the air.
It's ridiculous. What else we got here? Yeah.
The way it looks on my screen, Santa's being pulled by aged boomer in a tractor.
I thought he's being pulled by the dog with the antlers from the Rum DMC.
There you go. There you go.
We did the other week. Okay. Well, look at this. Huh?
That's actually kind of cool too.
Krampus, he's not so bad. They're all on the same team. We're all on the same team.
Tiger flying Santa.
Oh, it's just so bad. I hate these. There's your Krampus.
That's actually a pretty good Krampus.
I almost went with that one, but I like the one with him basically stalking the town better. So I went with that. That's a good one, though.
I get that too. Sure.
Let's see here. That's
actually a good one too.
Look at this. What is wrong with that? Like, who came up with Krampus? Seriously. There's actually hundreds of Santa, and that's how he's in every department store. Yeah, I believe it. He's like the multiple man from.
Well, the other thing too, you kind of got it from some of the stories we were talking about tonight. Not everyone celebrates Christmas, or at least the day that a gift giver comes.
Different Christian denominations celebrate at different times.
Yeah, whether it's the Feast of the Epiphany or the Immaculate Conception, the Annunciation. There's all different days, so
Krampus looks like a roadie for Gore. It wouldn't surprise me if some roadies for Gore dress up as Krampus on Christmas.
Yeah.
There's your Scarecrow.
That's the Hans. What's his name?
Yeah, too obvious. The knight that became the too obvious. Seriously.
There's another one.
Too obvious. Like they're little too much. I like the Stark in the field better. That's why I want that one. That one's not bad.
Christmas.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good too. Yeah.
If you think about it, Jack Skellington starts out as a scarecrow in the beginning of Night Before Christmas, doesn't he?
Nurse Cratchit is coming and telling me I have to get off and go to sleep. Good night, everyone.
Good night. We're going to be wrapping it up soon.
Take care, Leanne. Do feel better.
Oh, watch Night of the Scarecrow. That was a freaky one. That was a made-for-TV horror movie, as I recall.
This actually looks pretty cool because it looks like it could be an actual ornament.
Yeah, that's not bad. I like it.
Or it could be, a spider from a Zay Frank video.
Exactly.
You've got a shiny hiney.
Look at that.
Okay, there's a lot going on here. So we got the spider in the web. Okay, fine. What is with the rabbit on the hearth and Peppa Pig in the tree? I mean, this... And then someone's trying to burn one of their gifts.
So the reason I include these outtakes in these presentations is, well, I realized too that whatever AI program was probably burning up power to give me the 4 images, so I don't just want to throw them away because I figure we probably wasted some, I don't know how much electricity it took them.
Burger King says, what's red, white, and blue on Christmas Day? A sad candy cane. Just wait. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see one of those in one of these pictures he's showing us.
Let's see here.
That's kind of cool too. How the Christmas spider celebrated Christmas?
Just looks like a picture book. You could probably just do a picture book over there.
Cool, yeah.
Right,
Mia? That's dark.
We're gonna end here. Yikes. That was from the Santa Stuck in the Chimney. There are a lot of bad ones. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Looks
signed by I, Mrs. Bell.
What is wrong with the AI? Look at that.
It's getting there.
It's nightmare fuel. I'm going to have to get off of this one. Is there any more? No, that's it.
Lamar Bell.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's go back to the spider. Okay, we're done with the presentation. That's all.
Yeah, you know what? In fact, even better. Let's just go back to us and
you don't like the head, the look like the decapitated head of Santa or something.
Yeah, that or broken neck or something like that. He was definitely dead.
AI is not
neutral. Yeah.
It's not
Okay,
natural
take care,
either.
Horror King.
It's not natural either. Ridiculous, man. I swear these pictures freak me out.
Yeah.
But I keep forgetting I'm subscribed to Canva. I got to use it. So
There you go. There you go.
all right. So that wraps it up.
So,
Hope y'all enjoyed Christmas Legends.
yeah, yeah. So, of course, tomorrow night, keeping the Christmas thing going over on Big Al's channel with Muppet Christmas. Sunday we will be doing geezers things, talking about.
There's some good news, actually.
We got some good news. Yeah.
We have some good news. We have the return of well, I'll say the first lady of gaming. She is back. I didn't think we'd ever see her again, but she's back. It looks like she's back. I keep trying to find a crack in this, but I'm like, that's her. She's back. I didn't think this would ever happen.
There you go.
What was else? And also, don't forget though, tomorrow with Muppet Christmas Carol, I had heard that when Michael Caine was on the set, he treated the Muppets like professional actors. Like he wasn't treating them like he wasn't acting like he was in a Muppet movie. Do you understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I heard with Muppet Treasure Island, Tim Curry acted as if he was a Muppet.
Interesting take. It's
yes,
an interesting
yes,
take on it.
That's what I've heard. With
Michael Caine played it absolutely straight because it's like with all the craziness that the Muppets are doing, they needed someone to be, the straight guy, so to speak.
Well, that's the joke. Not to bring up Batman the Brave and the Bold again, which I always do, but that's where they treat Batman as the straight guy and everything ridiculous is around him. Do you understand?
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and I haven't seen all of the Muppet Christmas, but I have heard that there are some things in it that are like bingo spot on, quoted directly from Dickens.
You're going to notice some interesting things in that movie.
Yeah. But anyway, so and you know what? You guys know what's going on. Let's just get through the weekend. And then next week is Christmas. So next week, we'll talk about what we're going to do for last call. But starting with Liquid Lunch on Wednesday, going to start doing Christmas Eve movie rewatches like we did for Thanksgiving. Going to have a presentation that is going to run through the night, not necessarily with me hosting. It just might be playing on Cosme. You can go, if you have insomnia or you're waiting up for Santa, you can go watch what's playing on Cosme. And then the following day, we'll pick it up with some more movies throughout the day. And you can celebrate Christmas with us if you got nothing else going on. Even if you are with family, put us up on the big screen and watch the movies on Cosme and so forth.
Should be fascinating, yeah.
But maybe we'll do something Boxing Day themed for next week for last call.
Yeah, let me know. We could do something. Yeah.
So
all right, cool.
Any last words, Boomer, before we wrap it up?
Merry Christmas to one and all.
There you go. Netter, last thoughts, last words?
Well, of course, I want to thank all y'all for being here. I want to thank our producers tonight, which was Geek Flag with Nate, with the Gifty, because that's super appreciated. And I just lost what I was looking at.
$2 super chat from Darth Plato.
Yes.
Tim Hayes celebrating his 14 months as a member.
Absolutely. We do this for you guys, and without you being here,
we have no reason.
We have no reason to be here ourselves. Exactly. And it's your support that keeps our channels going. So thank you, every one of you, for the different ways that you support us and support our channels. Troy had mentioned at the beginning of the stream that he's lost some more members, and it's because they were gifties that had run out. I really wish they would have the gifties end like at the end of the month rather than whatever day it started, but it doesn't. So he needs about 39 more.
Thank you, Lady Mist.
You are so inclined, please gift a membership. Consider that your Christmas present to Troy and me. Because because I know it would super encourage them. And until next time, good night and God bless.
What
And
you're hearing
thank you,
me
Lady
doing
Mist.
is something that encouraged me is the chocolate that I got from Age Boomer.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
what that was. Thank you, Lady Mist, for the Farty Fox.
My Farty Fox.
That's
I love
over
my
on
Farty
Netter's
Fox.
channel. Thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to say goodnight to you all. Take care of yourselves. Get feeling better if you're not feeling good right now. Stay hydrated, drink responsibly, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.
The neon lights are fading, closing time is near. Whispers in the corners, secrets shared sincere. The bartender's polishing the final glass. Time slips away like moving through the grass. Last call for alcohol, make your dreams come true. One more round, friends, from me and you. Let's toast to the night, to the stories we've spun. Here's to the laughter and to what's begun. The shadows are dancing as we linger still. Every clink of a glass, a memory to distill. Beneath this smoky haze, our feelings they unfurl. A tapestry of whispers in this corner of the world. The jukebox serenades us with a final tune, crooning to the lonely and the lovers under the moon. With every soft note, the end draws ever near. But in this fleeting moment, there's nothing to fear. Last call for alcohol, make your dreams come true.